Welcome back to Construction Simulator for episode 14, where I continue with the bridge with me, Mr. Searly P. I'm not going to lie to you, we have a bit of a problem. This is the second part of the bridge building. We put all the concrete in and all that in the last episode. So I'm up here at the store to get a mobile crane. However, all this has been recorded. I recorded the whole, pretty much the entire episode. Came to edit, and the mic is cutting in and out. It's just crackling the entire way through. The entire episode, every single bit I did. So I'm now doing this over the top, and it's not going to be as pretty or as witty because, you know, I'm a funny guy. But information we've got at the moment is that crane there, the second one, the cheaper one, is the one that it recommends. And I say that, we're going to go in and we're going to check here under jobs. Look, it says there, mobile crane, recommended machine. Now, you can, at the side of those, you've got the arrows, you can click either side and it will scroll through similar machines, as you can see there. So there's a bigger one as well. But you can't actually lease it from there, because I thought, oh, that's all right. If you've got the recommended machine, we can do it from there. Brilliant. But you can't. This is where we come into a bit of a snag, which we're going to realise later on. Now, I'm not too sure what to do at this precise moment in time, as I'm doing this overlay, this voice overlay, whether or not to just cut chunks of the recording in, showing the different jobs I'm doing and talking over, because in all honesty, everything I was talking about as I was going on, I can't remember exactly what I was saying at what points, so it's going to be a little bit trickier. Yeah, so I'm sorry about that. It's frustrating. We're going to jump to the crane. Oh, that was the thing I was saying. I've just remembered now. It's coming up. Milestones. When I was just renting that piece of machinery, it said 18% discount. If you come in, if you haven't been to this menu already, if you go along and then go to milestones, it gives you these different things. Fast travel is a popular way to switch between locations. Use it regularly to receive a discount. The more you fast travel, the better the discount is, so you don't get charged as much when you do travel. Renting machinery, the more you rent machinery. I'm not far off getting to a point where my discount will go up from 18%. The pallet one's a weird one. Regularly check the building material dealer of stock, and he'll show his appreciation with an ever-increasing discount. I haven't seen any of those. I don't know. But yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff there. I'm wondering now whether or not that's a separate job. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, I don't know what we're going to do. It'll bounce in and out. I just thought, you know what? I'm going to have to just throw it all in the bin. The next episode will be me completing the bridge building. But then that's, you know, I really enjoyed doing it as well. That's the frustrating thing. The equipment and machinery and the jobs that I got to do were brilliant. I'm going to jump to that. We'll enter it rather than me walking all the way around the yard trying to find it. And then I'll probably... What did I do? Sorry, I know this is... Oh, I drove it all the way, but I'll skip. I'll cut a bit and we'll drive away. Now, the downside now is because I've muted the clip, because if I don't mute the clip, there's crackling all the way through. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump ahead until we get there, and I'm going to have to edit chunks together that haven't got me talking, which if you know my videos, you know me, I never shut up. So that's going to be a little bit trickier. But then we're going to lose a certain amount of something. That's why I'm thinking of maybe just cutting chunks together so you can see what I was doing. I don't know. It's the only way I can think of doing it, really. So apologies for that. I thought my headset and mic had packed up. So I tried a different headset and mic, still doing it. So in the end, I did the old IT thing, turned the PlayStation off, turned it back on again, and it's fine. So I have no idea what caused it. Very peculiar. But anyway. See you over there in a bit. I've decided for this next section to leave the sound on, just so you get the sound of the vehicles and things I'm doing. Hopefully, there's going to be some crackling in the background there. You might get little bits where hopefully my voiceover I'm doing now will go over, hopefully, bits. Every now and again when I pause or I stop saying something, you might get crackles, but this is probably the best way I could think of doing it. So, we've got this, the mobile crane, the lead pair. This should be fairly straightforward to operate. Open the legs out, crane arm goes up, and we should have raising and lowering of the hook, all that kind of stuff. We've got this massive girder, bridge girder we've got to put up. I'm not quite sure how. Where do we have to attach it from? I'm not sure. It's difficult as well because I've already said all of this, because I'm now doing this retrospectively. Obviously, I know what's going to happen. So, you know, it's that thing of, if you add in a voiceover afterwards, do you go along with the whole, I wonder what's going to happen, or do you just play it as, you know, because I know what's going to happen and I know it goes wrong. But I know I also blag it. So, you know, well, the first part I do anyway. So the hook's there. We're going to hook up with the front bit, get that attached, and then we'll lift this up. Now, the scary thing about this is we have to hook it up and we have to reach out right across the road here, because where we've got to attach it to is way up. You know, where we pulled all the concrete pylons or pillars, support pillars. Those two blue things are cable supports, cable hangers. I just thought I'd rock this back slowly, because if I lift it up, the whole thing will swing forward, and I didn't want it to crash into anything. So we'll get this up. It's going to be heavy, because the other thing I did think at this point was this crane seems very small. Now, it's difficult because I wasn't sure what I'd be doing next with this. The fact that comes up as a recommended vehicle, and I suppose I'm the only person that's been caught out by this. It's a cheaper one to rent, cheaper one to buy if you're going to do it. And you think, great, I'll grab it, which is what I did. But as we'll find out momentarily, it's not going to work. And also, even trying what I then tried, yeah, like I say, you'll see what happens. It's an interesting solution to a problem, but we extend the whole thing up. And what I think is amazing anyway is the length of this. I want to get to enough money where I can buy one of these, because I think it's brilliant. And as I said in the previous episode, Gary already sort of tipped me the wink and said, mobile crane, that's what you need to be looking at. So it extends a fair old way, you know, and I kept thinking that's a lot of weight for that small crane. But at the end of the day, that's what they're rated for, that's what they're designed for, I guess. And this is where I run into a problem, because look at where I am across the road. I think I'm at full reach. So I'm going to have to think again. And here's what I've decided to do. I decided to turn around, so I put the beam back down. If I back up, because the crane actually sits further back, so if I reverse up, that'll give me a bit more reach. Plus, if I back up between these girders on the floor and go as far back as I possibly can, I'll give myself some extra reach there, because I wasn't as far forward as I could have been. So as far on as I can go, reversing back as far as I can go. Maybe I can get the crane arm on this one to reach far enough to get up and put the girder up. Like I say, we'll see. That's what I'm hoping. The only problem... oh yeah, I've just realised I probably could have edited this bit out. But anyway, yeah, it's not going to work because I was too close to the girders, and then I made a mistake pressing reset. Am I the only person that's done that as well? I thought I'll reset the boom arm because I've got into the habit of doing that for various different vehicles, and then if you press it when the boom arm stuff is already away, it resets the vehicle back to a start position, not the boom arm, and you find yourself doing what I'm doing now, so I'm having to go back and do it again. But hey, it's all good fun. I have to say, these are very nimble, very manoeuvrable. I do like how well they do manoeuvre. So I'm going to move it through the centre section this time and get to a point where hopefully I can get these arms out. Legs. Arms? Legs? What am I referred to? I don't work in construction, I don't work with cranes, but support legs? Something like that. So if I put it about... I'm going to go back further. If I can get it just past there, I can get the legs out. I just don't want to crash into anything. Yeah, so we should be right there. The only thing I was worried about was that that light stand. But it's opened, we're good. I can open this all up. Now hopefully, now I'll attach it and I can swing the whole assembly round. I'm further back, I'm closer to the edge, we should be out of reach. That's not to say that I'm not going to need to get the bigger one, which I think I am. So that's the thing, you know, I've had to rent this one, then I'm going to have to rent the other one. I suppose at the end of the day, I've rented one and I'll rent the other one. It's still a long-term rent, regardless which one I went for, but it's just having to go backwards and forwards and muck around with it. But So, up, swing it around. Oh, it didn't go that way, did it? I think I might have caught on the light, actually. I was just saying about the lights. I think that's what I got caught on. Swing around the other way. We should be good. Now, the question is, will it reach? What do you think? Answer on a postcard. Put it in the comments now. Do you think it's going to reach? Oh, dear. And what I end up doing, yeah, I know. People will be not annoyed, but it's that kind of thing of, I know I've had mixed comments where people saying, when you get the green pop up, you can just click X and it will put it into place. I know, and I've mentioned that before, but I'm very much kind of, but I'd rather get it lined up and do it kind of properly kind of thing. This was one of those situations where I thought, you know what, no, that's it, I'm at full extent. I can't reach, and I realise I can't reach, so this is where I decide, shall I try something else? So what I thought I'd do is rotate it a little bit, move the crane arm, and if it goes green, I'm just going to press X. And it does. So, should I have done that? No, of course not. But it was the solution to the problem at the time. I am going to have to get the bigger one. This one will go back. I'll have to fold it all up, pack it all away, and we need to supersize. We need to go large. We got the big boy. I'm hoping the crackling's not too bad. I know it's probably quite frustrating, and if you're listening to this with headphones on or something like that, you're probably picking it all up. But anyway, so the lead pair, look at that. That's awesome. This should have the reach. We shouldn't have to go as far. We've got to put the 2 cable hangers up, and then whatever comes next. But it's going to be fun, no matter what it is. It's just using the big stuff. That's what makes it fun anyway, regardless. I'm finding I'm having to click between the camera and the vehicle once you put the legs out for it to give you the option to move the crane. It wouldn't move initially, but anyway. So now we find out if the reach is okay. If it is, all is good in the world. We'll put the first one up, and then I won't put you through having to watch me pick up and take the other one up. But what I am going to do though is when we get to the top of the other one is we'll record again, because I don't know what's going to happen at that point. I say I do know what's going to happen, but you know what I mean, because you get these bits where you get cut scenes and things get built, and I don't want to sort of skip that. So that's how we're going to edit this bit together. I've got to try and get the I'll change the camera angle in a second and we'll get the angle right, but I just want to see if we've got the range first. I don't see why we won't have, and it looks like we're going to be absolutely golden. Now again, I'm going to rotate it. You don't have to once it goes up green like I did with the initial cross member, but I'm going to rotate it just for, you know, the realism of the thing kind of thing. I know I don't do anything particularly realistically, but it's kind of just part and parcel. One and done. Right, so let's move on to the next one. I will retract that. That's got some reach on it, isn't it? That's pretty cool. No, other way. I keep doing that as well. As soon as I swing my camera angle around the other way, obviously the controls reverse, like flying a radio-controlled aircraft, isn't it? As soon as it's coming back towards you, it all reverses. But yeah, we should be able to hook the other one up, and we'll get that straight up there. So momentarily, we'll be up the top, and we'll see what changes and what comes next. Whatever it's going to be, it's going to be fun, I hope. And so, we're on. Are we going to rotate it? I can't remember whether I did or not. Yes, there we go. Right. Clear the marked area. Now the vehicle is clear of the marked area, but obviously the boom isn't, so we need to get the boom out of the way. Once the boom's out of the way, and I'm going to swing the camera around too, simply because we want to see what's going to happen. Now the fact we've got the supports up, the cable runners are there. The cables... yeah, cables, I think it's cables at this point. There we go. So, complete, 21 grand. Now place special components. We need to keep the crane because the components are on the ground already, and what we're going to start doing is picking up those, lifting them up into place and gradually working our way forward. I'm trying to think. Yeah, move the whole lot forward, the rig forward anyway. That way I can maximise my reach. We'll get right up to the edge, put the supports out. Got to be careful I don't go too far. That's the last thing I need, just dropping off the edge. But we'll get as close as we can, put the supports out, and we'll go again. So this is, like I say, this was the one we needed to have right from the outset, judging on the reaches, the distances, the things that we're going to need. So, not that it's dodgy or no, but like I said earlier, it's going to catch people out, the fact that the recommended machine, it's different when you've got all asphalt pavers or all dump trucks or all, and they're all the same, you can just pick between different manufacturers. That's fine, I totally understand that. But with something like this, where you do need a very specific crane, it's all well and good mobile cranes, but you needed this one. I'm sorry I'm harping on about it, it's just frustrated me. Another thing I was going to try to do, and I did I do a clip of it yet? Or is that later on? It might be later on. From in-cab, it's really difficult to do it in-cab because doing it like this, you can see the green markers. So when you're putting the crane arm out, you can see when you're directly above, and when it goes green, you know you're in the right position. Again, I could just click it now, but I'll bring them up into a bit closer position, bring it in a little bit tighter, and then we'll do it. Just for the look of the thing, but that's pretty cool. And then that will then attach to the suspension cables. You might be surprised to know this is my very first suspension bridge. I've never built one. Actually, no, that's a lie. That's actually a lie. I was just about to say, because I suppose that's a real one, played a virtual game, but you know what I mean. At cadets, with the air cadets, we used to do leadership tasks, various different command tasks, leadership tasks, however you refer to them, in teams, bridging shark-infested custard and that kind of stuff, achieving various different objectives and things like that. And we would do ones where you did it physically, so you'd use ties and planks and all these different things, and you'd have to bridge gaps or retrieve things. And then we started to do the more cerebral ones, where you had ones that were paper exercises. We had to work things out as teams and solve problems. Some that were mixes of both. We did all sorts of leadership tasks and command tasks. And when I was then an instructor, I would plan them and run them, and we would do entire leadership weekends, so we did the whole thing. One of the ones we would do is across, you'd have two tables with a gap between them. You give them sheets of paper, string, bits and bobs, and they had to build a bridge that would go across the gap. And then I think it was not a matchbox car, but something a little bit bigger, like a die-cast car, had to be able to roll over it. So you had to be able to roll over it without the bridge collapsing. And we built suspension bridges across the gap. Obviously small model ones, but so yeah, technically not my first suspension bridge. But that's cool. It's a fun thing to do. If you've got kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, and if they're driving you mad and you want to find something for them to do, it's always a good one. Just get some sheets of paper, some sellotape, some string if you've got some knocking about, and just give them the task and just say, look, this is what you need to do, build a bridge between here and here. And it's always fascinating. It's the same as when I was teaching. I used to love the fact that you could think of all different ways. Now, I used to find it when I used to plan and prep my own leadership tasks to run for other people. You would run through all the different permutations, and I find the same thing with Farming Simulator, and all the different things you think are going to be what people will do, and then people surprise you. They do stuff you would never in your wildest dreams have expected, and it's brilliant, and I love that. So anyway, I think we're probably we're going to be able to reach now. I might actually go forward again. We'll reset, we'll go forward again. So as you can imagine, moving forward, we've got a section on is it pontoon? It's pontoon, isn't it? Yeah. On a pontoon. So as we go out, so we are going to continue this on out to the middle. I'm assuming, yeah, we'll do that. So I'll carry on. Repeating the process moving forward. Again, apologies for the crackling. I know I've been going back and just checking the editing and it's still there. I can only apologise for that. And then we will see what happens next. And now we find ourselves at the other end. So we got halfway as the suspension cable sagged down in the middle between the two supports. We got out as far as halfway, and again it's just going to be a repeat of the procedure, but going from the other side in. We just have to drive all the way round. It's an interesting one, this. Of all the contracts I've done, the point for if you fast travel to this construction site, it puts you this side of the river. So when I had to do the other jobs, starting the other side, when I had to put the supports up and use the crane and stuff like that, if you did fast travel, it brought you all the way over to this side, dropped you there, and you had to drive back again. That's why a couple of times I actually drove the vehicles directly out. All the other contracts I've had is taking you to a fast travel location right by the site, but I suppose because this is split between both sides, it's just given you one fast travel location, and we'll go from there. So yeah, I mean this again, click them all in one at a time, bish bash bosh. By the time we get to the middle, we'll then see what happens. I don't know, I'm just thinking financially, how have we done of the, what was it, 700 odd thousand we were going to get paid for this? I can't remember how much we've been paid so far. Top left is saying bridge 70% complete. We are going to, I would imagine, once this is all in place, we're going to need to asphalt. So we're going to need an asphalt paver and an asphalt dumper. So we'll need both of those. And I would imagine, because of the size of the bridge, we are going to be backwards and forwards with asphalt to fill up the paver, and then we're going to have to compact it as well, so we're going to have a fair bit to do. Last two sections. It's quite exciting. I was going to move the crane, and I thought, I'll see if I can reach. If I can get right to the middle, we'll be fine. And it's whether or not as well I can pull this. I was wondering if I'd have to lift this from the side, but it's put it directly underneath. So what we'll do is we'll hook it up, bring it up. Once that's in place, then yeah, it'll be the next steps. And I'm just thinking, edit-wise, time-wise, because of what I've had to do with the voiceover, the next section after this will hopefully be not a voiceover. It will be as I'm doing it. I can only assume the PlayStation had some kind of meltdown. I don't know what went wrong with it. It was very peculiar. Right, clear the marked area. That bridge is done. Wow, that's impressive stuff. I just keep thinking back to when we drove down to the site and we had to drill the first lot, sort of the boreholes, and put the things in and put the concrete in, and then start doing all the concrete pouring when we used the drill rig, to where we are now. It's impressive stuff. We're now at bridge 79% complete. I suppose it would have been better if I'd have driven forward, because I'm reversing quite slowly, but we should get off the marked area fairly soon. And will we get paid again? I'm trying to think. More soon as we clear the area. I honestly can't remember. If we do, I might buy something else. What could I buy? Oh yeah, another 60 grand. What are we up to? 500, is it 512? 517 grand. So yeah, apply asphalt, compact asphalt. So we're going to need an asphalt paver, we're going to need an asphalt dumper, and we're going to need a compactor to get all that done. The crane can go back, because we're not going to need that again. I'm also thinking after this, there's probably going to be, I would imagine, the resort that was sort of mentioned at the start of all of this. Let's send that back. The crane go back. Yeah, I don't know if I'll do the resort. I think we'll finish with the bridge, and what I might do is switch after. Obviously, I've got to do the asphalting and stuff first. So once this bridge contract's done, I think what I might do is do the harbour, some of the harbour jobs or something else before we come back and maybe do the resort. But on here, we'll have to do the asphalting. and I'm hopefully going to get that done before the end of the episode. And like I say, the next bit after this, when we get the asphalt paver and all that kind of stuff, I'll get it all over here. We'll get cracking. That should all be recorded as we go and not a voiceover. So if you've stuck with me this long and put up with the crackling, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I will see you momentarily. Of course, it's in the middle of the night, nearly midnight. We've got our cat asphalt paver. I've already opened it out. That's ready to go. We've got our asphalt dumper. That's full. I went to the gravel plant to get it. Now, on all of the bits of equipment, again, this is something I haven't mentioned up until now. You can empty it if you've got any left here. You don't get as much as if you take it to the gravel plant, but also when it's empty, you can refill it here. You don't have to keep going backwards and forwards, although it is more expensive to fill it. It is actually cheaper to fast travel, fill it, fast travel back, than it is to stay where you are and fill it. It depends how you want to get it, but you can fill it if you want to. That, of course, is your prerogative. What I'm going to do is swing that around, and we should tip that up, fill up the paver. If it takes the full load or not. I can't remember when I did the paving before. But I'll start off doing this, I'll do the rest of it off camera, then we'll go and get the compactor and we'll do the compacting. So hopefully by the end of the episode we will have completely finished the bridge. That's the plan. Is it still taking it? Looks like it is, doesn't it? Okay, maybe we're done. Right. So, let's hop out of that. Now, I can't remember, can I go backwards or do I have to turn the whole thing around? Got lights on, doesn't help that we're in the dark. Yeah, we probably need to go the other way, don't we? So let's go backwards. Swing it around quickly. I don't think it matters too much. Go that way so we can see where we're going. That should be better, shouldn't it? Let's just say yes for the time being. Try and line up as straight as we can, get onto the edge of there, and then we'll go onto there, and asphalting on. I honestly don't know how much of this is going to cover, since we're only 4% done. 6%, 7%, we're getting through it fairly quickly. It's a big bridge. I've got a funny feeling we're going to have to top up at some point by quite a lot, bearing in mind we're not even, we've used half of it yet. 15%. Blimey. Yeah, we're going to have to refill a couple of times, aren't we? But we should get it done in maybe 3 strips, which is alright. It's 1:14 already, it'll be getting light. I'm at 20% complete and we've used over half of what we had in there. What I will do is bring the we'll bring the dumper to it, I think, rather than reversing, because this is the slower of the two vehicles. It would make more sense to bring it here. 30%. So yeah, we're going to have to fill it up 3 times probably. Will we get a full strip in before we get to this? We might do, you know. I thought this was going to take absolutely ages, but it's not going to, is it? Yeah. Nearly out, 40%. I think we're out. We are. So if I hop out, I'll whiz and go and get the lorry. Whoop. I'll bring it back down. Probably not a great idea to walk on that. I'll bring it down, swing it right back into here. We'll tip it in again. Assuming, of course, I've got more. If not, I might have to go and get another load. What we should be able to do is just... I mean, we could run across the bridge if we wanted to. But seems to make more sense doing like this. Oh yeah, we got just under half left. So yeah, maybe another full load after this and we should be golden. Let's swing it round. I was going to reverse down the bridge, but it's quicker to go forwards. 207. Asphalt and done by the morning, and then compacting. Bridge nearly done. I'm enjoying this immensely. I mean, really, really immensely. Apart from that thing that keeps happening. Right, I will see you when the rest of the surface laying is done. You can see we're doing it and it's working alright. I'll go back and grab another load because we're definitely going to need another load. Then I'll show you what I meant. That's now done. If I click on that and go up to that one now, it says fill up 13,125. Now when I did it from the gravel plant, it was 10,000. I mean, yeah, like I say, it depends. If you don't want the hassle of going backwards and forwards, you pay a little bit of a premium, and basically what you're doing is they're coming to you. I think is the best way of looking at it. So it depends how much money you want to spend. So I'll see you in a bit. I'll get that done, and then we'll get the compacting done. Awesome. And so, fingers crossed, the last part, asphalting. We've got the cat compactor, roller. What we're going to do is turn it on. Oh, we've got to be on here first, okay. Now we'll turn it on. Let's do this. Top left, 1%. It's going to take a while. Now we're looking behind. Oh, I can't see behind. Oh no. Maybe I should be reversing. That'd be easier. That's a bit bad. I can't see behind me. I thought it'd be quite cool doing it this way. Yeah, I'm too far over now. We'll get there. It's a big bridge. They don't do a wider one than this. They don't do a bigger one. Although there wasn't one anyway. So same applies. I mean, it's 9:26 in the morning. It's probably going to be dark again by the time I'm finished. Happy days. Have a look in. It's a well-constructed bridge. Even if I do say so myself, did a jolly good job. What are we at? 20%? Actually, it's not going to take us. We're not going to have to do the entire. Well, I said that before. I've done contracts, and it doesn't look like it needs to. There are settings. I mentioned this a few episodes back, where you can adjust on the contracts the sort of the difficulty level. So the harder you make it, the more money you earn, and that kind of stuff. There are more steps and that kind of thing, and you have to do more of the jobs. Plus, there's the flip side of that. When I get to that point where you can hire staff and you can have workers, so you can get workers do certain jobs, bits that you don't necessarily want to do, or ferrying backwards and forwards. So the bits where I'm doing work, you can get someone. If I was doing the asphalting, you can then have someone that goes off and comes back with the asphalt dumper. So there's stuff you can do. Make sure I get it just right. All is good. I think this is pretty much the last step, and then after this, I think it's just a debriefing. Probably doesn't hurt to have a look, actually. Development bridge, roadworks, road construction. Yeah, debriefing, and then we'll be done. Yeah, oh, it's still rumbling. I've still got the haptic feedback. That is a cool feature, actually. It's one of those things, I've said this before on various different games you play. It was always racing games that always got me. Before you had the rumble function, you'd race and you'd go over the, you know, I've forgotten the word for it anyway. Rumble strips, so the rumble strips on the racetrack, you know, on the corners and stuff, and you never really thought anything of it. And then when you get the rumble function on controllers, and when you're driving you go over stuff like that and you get the bumps and you get those little feelings, that little bit of feedback makes a massive difference. Then when it's gone again, you suddenly think, oh, it feels really weird not having it. So having it on here, it's actually pretty cool. 40%, we're nearly there. Nearly there. What are we on? Yep, 97, 98, 99. Clear the site. Oh my God, 962,676. That was a big old payout. We've got another skill point we can use. We just speak to the tourism officer. We can afford to get some cool stuff. Next episode is going to be awesome. Let's just hop out of that. We'll send that back in a moment. Let's speak to the tourism officer, see what she's got to say. 474 grand. Oh.
In my mind, I can just see the wealthy vacationers cruise along here in their shiny rides. I'm sure that I'm not the only one who is dreaming about this. We finally created a fast and safe link with the new bridge. Before that, you had to take the long way around the outskirts for many miles. Now, that's a thing of the past. And an hourly sightseeing tour across the bridge into the vacation resort is already being planned. It's coming along.
There's an incredible sense of satisfaction at that. That's brilliant. I enjoyed that more. I think out of all of them, I've enjoyed that the most. Absolutely brilliant. So there's going to be more tourism jobs, I'd imagine. I'm not going to choose which job I'm going to do now. I'm going to try and work out what I'm going to spend my money on. What shall I buy? Oh look, they're already coming across the bridge. What we should do then is let's, before anyone arrives and crashes into it, let's return that. Think about what to spend my money on. So, the other thing we can do actually while we're here is let's go across to profile, skills. I used one of my other ones on the concrete viscosity as well, so I've used another one. Oh, I've got 2 points. What shall I go with? I think I might do the fitness. Nimble as a gazelle and leap like a panther. I'm going to do the concrete viscosity as another one. That way, that should be a lot easier for pouring concrete. Bulk material capacity or asphalt capacity? I think I'm going to go with... It depends, because I haven't had another contract where I've got to dig yet. But you can bet your life the next one I'll get will be, so it doesn't matter what I pick. I'm going to go with the bulk material. So I can transport more per load, so to speak. Like I say, jobs I'm not going to look at yet. I might take on a contract rather than a campaign mission. Haven't decided. And then obviously there's all the cool things we can look at buying for our construction company. I'm just trying to think what we've used most. I want to get a mobile crane, but is that the best use of my money? I don't own a dump truck, so I think I'll get a dump truck regardless, but I'll give it some thought. But anyway, that's it. Part 2 of Mr. Bridger is complete. We've done it. And it's very cool. We can go across our own bridge. Well, not our own bridge, it's owned by them, but we built it. From humble beginnings down underneath here to what we've got now. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.